Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Red Dead Online and we're going to be doing another historical outfit guide. Today, for a much requested character, Teddy Roosevelt, a famous Western American character who also became President of the United States. Also a significant war hero, did all sorts of stuff. Definitely one of my favorite American people from every single period of history, just definitely way up there, one of the best. And obviously, at least in my opinion, the very best president that the United States ever had, and likely ever will have, just given our recent track record. With all that in mind, let's just go into a little bit of background information on this character. Theodore Roosevelt, by names Teddy Roosevelt, or TR, was born October 27th, 1858 in New York, New York, of the United States, and died January 6th of 1919 in Oyster Bay, New York. He was the 26th President of the United States from 1901 to 1909, and a writer, naturalist, and a soldier. He expanded the powers of the presidency and of the federal government in support of the public interest in conflicts between big business and labor, and steered the nation toward an active role in world politics, particularly in Europe and Asia. He won the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1906 for mediating an end to the Russo-Japanese War from 1904 to 05, and he secured the route and began construction of the Panama Canal in 1904 to 1914. Theodore Roosevelt's childhood was marked by ill health and nighttime bouts of asthma, which gave him a feeling of suffocation. However, despite ill health, he was vivacious and active. He found strenuous physical exercise helped him to overcome his asthma. He admired his father, Theodore Roosevelt Sr., who was a businessman and philanthropist. His father encouraged his 4 children to cultivate fearlessness, good morals, and honesty. Roosevelt credited his father and others for helping to overcome his natural timidity and weakness. He later wrote the book Strenuous Life in 1901, explaining the benefits of hard physical exercise. In his childhood, Roosevelt was homeschooled by tutors and parents. This allowed him to focus on areas of interest, such as geography, natural history, and languages. At age of 17, he entered Harvard College, where he graduated with an AB. He was a good student. Despite deficiencies in the classics and mathematics, he was also a keen sportsman, partaking in boxing and rowing. In 1895, he was appointed a position on the board of the New York City Police Commissioners by William Lafayette Strong. Roosevelt began his characteristic high-minded reform to root out corruption and promote officers on meritocracy rather than political affiliation. Roosevelt took his job seriously. He was moved by a book by journalist Jacob Riis on the crime-ridden districts of New York. Roosevelt took a special interest in these crime-infested areas and sought to improve the application of the law. He would even walk the streets late at night to check police officers and see if they were fulfilling their duties. His reforms led to conflict with Tammany Hall, and the police commissioners were later legislated out of existence. In September 1901, President McKinley was shot by a lone anarchist, dying later from his injuries. It meant Roosevelt became president just several months into the presidential cycle. As president, Roosevelt was more vigorous in supporting regulation of large companies, trusts, which were considered to be exploiting their monopoly power. He brought 44 trusts, including the highly symbolic investigation of J. Rockefeller's Standard Oil. President Roosevelt was also a champion of conservation, making many national parks, including 18 new national monuments, and was also well known as the hero of San Juan Hill, where he led a brigade known as the Rough Riders in the Spanish-American War. Clearly, one of the most famous, influential, and interesting American presidents or politicians on the whole throughout the entire history of this great nation. So the first potential gun that we're going to be looking at for this character, or this person, I keep saying character, but he's a real life guy, is going to be his 1895 Colt pistol that he used in the Spanish-American War. This is the pistol that he used during the charge up San Juan Hill. So definitely a very, very famous handgun to choose to go with him. Now, mind you, the outfit I'm going to be basing off of today is actually his later years outfit, what you would see in many of his presidential portraits. So just bear in mind if at any point in the video you think, hey, I'd really like to see what he wore when he was out west as a cowboy, or I'd like to see what he wore when he was in the Spanish-American War, or anything like that, let me know down in the comment section. That could be a totally separate video. He had lots of really famous outfits that he's known to wear, and several of them are recreatable in the game, but today we're doing the presidential one. He was a president that liked his guns, so we have to decide what we're going to use. So the first option for a handgun is this double-action revolver, ebony grips, short barrel, no engraving, no carving, improved sights rifling, you know, all the good stuff. And then what we're going to do is make it all black and steel, because it was just a standard issue military sidearm. That's, you know, there was nothing super fancy about it. And obviously his had checkered a checkered grips with the black grips, but you know, this is the best we can do. I think it looks pretty cool. It's definitely a classic choice, but that is the first option you have for this outfit. So our second option is a famous Schofield revolver, Schofield Model 3 or whatever you want to call it, you know, the Smith & Wesson revolver that he very famously had. And this one was another one that was later in life. He was known to possess this one quite a bit. And so this one is a pretty standard look for the time, except for the engraving. He actually had a pretty well engraved gun, and actually the ornamental engraving in the game matches decently well with the engraving that his gun had in real life. And for that, I just gave it the black inlay. We have the long barrel, obviously, improved rifling, improved sights. I did the ironwood grips with the mesquite finish. I think it looks pretty nice. And then for the metals on this gun, I went with all blued steel for the barrel, cylinder, frame, and hammer, and then black and steel for the sight and the trigger. Pretty well matches the gun that he had in real life. I think it looks pretty cool. It's definitely a great option for this outfit. Probably my personal favorite, because out of all the guns that he's famously associated with, I really, really like the Schofield, probably the best out of them. But with all that in mind, that's only the second option out of 3. So the third one we're going to be looking at is one that he used earlier on in his career, during his cowboy time, stuff like that. A lot of people like to call it the Bull Moose Colt Single Action Army. Basically, it's his Single Action Army revolver. So we can't imitate it perfectly because A, he had the quick draw variant barrel, so the slightly shorter one, but the short barrel on this looks all right. He had ivory grips or bone or horn or something like that. It doesn't look like pearl grips, but pearl is the closest we can come to it in the game. His was heavily engraved, so we're going to want to do full engraving on it. I just did a silver or iron inlay or something into that because it's a full nickel-plated gun. Obviously, the real historical one that exists now in the Theodore Roosevelt weapons collection is all wore down and most of the nickel plating is rubbed off, so it looks a little bit darker. So you could imitate that, but obviously I like to go for imitating what it looked like at the time, at least for certain people, and for this one I definitely do. So full nickel with the silver engraving. The historical note on his says it was silver plated, which I guess I could show you what it looks like. So it doesn't look super different. I guess maybe you could like that more. It depends. I think the nickel plating probably looks a little bit nicer, but the historical notes for this gun says that it was silver plated. So maybe go with the full silver. Either way, I think it looks really cool. It's definitely a classic choice for this famous historical figure, and I think it's definitely flashy. Fourth option, if it was in the game, it's in the story, so if you wanted to do this in the story, the Colt 1901, which in the story exists as the 1899. He had a famous Colt 1901. It was black steel with a lot of really fancy engraving on it, some gold outlines on it, and a pearl grip. Was a gun that he was famously known to have, I think, during the presidency. So with all that in mind, there's a lot of different guns you can go with. All of these were guns that he owned. Choose any of them that you want. So as you can see, it's raining a little bit, but this is the outfit I went with. So just starting off with the hair and everything, I went with the walrus mustache. It looks the most like the spruce mustache that he was famously known to sport for most of his life. And then I did the short parted haircut. It actually cost a gold bar. It looks almost exactly like his haircut at the time of the photograph that I'm basing this outfit off of. And then that's the hair, obviously. But the outfit itself, I think, looks really nice. And let's just go through it one item at a time. So just starting it off, just a simple note, obviously we're not wearing a hat for this outfit. That's because for all of his presidential and other late life photographs, he's not wearing a hat. You could put one on if you were going to a Homburg hat or a bowler hat or something like that. There's tons of pictures with him wearing different hats. All of them pretty much are all gray, dark brown, or black. So if you really want to attach a hat to this, you could do all sorts of things. I didn't, because I just think that the outfit looks better for this phase of his life without one. So let's just go through the rest of the items. So the first thing to start off with is I went with the brass spectacles, and you can get these from Madame Nazar. This matches the glasses that he's pretty famous for wearing pretty well. His are a little bit smaller, but I think these match pretty well. They even have the chain coming off the side, which looks pretty nicely like the ones that he wore in real life. For necktie, for neckwear, I went with the dress tie, the standard black variant. It looks exactly or almost exactly like the one he wears in the photograph that I'm basing this off of. Of course, his had a slightly larger knot, but there's nothing we can do about that. For the coat, most of the black ones, I should say, work pretty dang well, but I think the black classic frock coat looks the best. I think it has the right cut in the front, the lapels sit just the right way, and it looks fancy enough that you would be like, okay, yeah, the 26th president of the United States might be wearing that. So for the vest, I ended up going with this gray stripe variant of the opulent vest, because I think in the picture he's wearing a gray vest, even though the colorized version that I based this off of makes it look a little darker. It looks significantly lighter than his jacket in the photograph. So that is why I chose to go with the gray vest. Obviously, a black vest would work as well if you're trying to match the colorized version of this, where it looks quite a bit more black or or maybe really dark blue. But I think the gray opulent vest looks good. It's got the right cut, the lapels are right, the buttons are right, the pockets are right, the way that it sits, like the height at which it opens, looks the most like his vest. So that's why I went with the opulent vest. Otherwise, a Richfield vest or a Paisley vest would work as well, because there's various different photographs of him wearing all sorts of different stuff. But I think this vest works the best for this outfit. For the shirt, I went with the classic everyday shirt, and I went with the white variant because it matches the shirt he wears pretty much perfectly in the picture. For weapon equipment, he's obviously not wearing a gun belt in the photograph that I'm basing this off of, which was, I think, when he was president, which checks out because he obviously, even Teddy Roosevelt wouldn't wear a gun belt in the Oval Office. I think this one matches the outfit the best. It's the most plain, it's black, so it matches the outfit in general. It doesn't have any ornamentation on it. If he were going to wear a gun belt with this outfit, this would be the one. For pants, I went with the gray tuxedo pants, and I used the same basic logic as the vest here. In the colorized version I look at, they look real dark, almost black, but in the original photograph, you can tell they're significantly lighter than the jacket, so again, I'm just basing it off that, and they're slightly lighter than the vest, so I think these gray pants match the vest and the jacket with the black and white photograph the best. Then for the shoes, or the footwear in general, I didn't go with boots. I decided to go with black dress shoes, the clean black variant. I think they look the most like you can usually see him wearing. This is the style of shoes that were very common at the time, especially when wearing a suit or something else that's fancy. So I think the black dress shoes are the best option. And of course, no spurs because he was sitting behind a desk, not riding a horse. So that is my Teddy Roosevelt as the president of the United States outfit. I think it looks very nice just as an outfit in general. I think it looks a lot like Teddy Roosevelt. I think you'll agree looking at them side by side that they're pretty dang similar. Like I said, I'm showing you the colorized version here, so it looks a little bit darker, but I think even then it still looks really nice. And that's where we're going to end the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it to be something that was well worth your time. And if you're a fan of Teddy Roosevelt like I am, I hope that it fulfilled your needs to dress up like him. Or I don't know if needs is quite accurate, but you know, desires, wants, wishes, whatever they could be. Like I said, if you want to see some other Teddy Roosevelt outfits, like when he was in the Battle of San Juan Hill, you know, in the Spanish-American War, or his Wild West cowboy days, any of that stuff, definitely let me know down in the comment section. And of course, any other requests, whether they're from movies, TV shows, other historical people, I would love to see all of those and try them out. I can't guarantee that I'll make a video, but I can guarantee that I'll try to make the outfit. And if it turns out well, of course I'll make the video. And if you liked the video at any point, whether it was just for a second or the entire thing, I definitely invite you to click that like button to help me out. It's going to help me out immensely in the algorithm. It's going to show me that you like this type of content, so I'll keep making it. And most importantly, or possibly most importantly, it'll show other people that a lot of people like this video, so it's probably a good one to watch, a good, reliable, make yourself look like Teddy Roosevelt video. So if you've done that, then the last thing I have to ask for is, if you like my content and you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It, again, is going to help my channel out immensely in the algorithm. It shows me that people are enjoying the content I'm making, so I'm likely to keep making it. And, of course, it'll help you stay up to date on all of the videos that I release daily. And if you like this video, there's a good chance you're going to like them as well, because my content is pretty consistent on the whole. But with all that in mind, thanks for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. It means a ton to me. In any case, have a nice day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.